Hey guys, I'm in Philadelphia. We got City Hall in the background. It's a beautiful day. And then these two lovely ladies who were at the e-bike expo, and you were walking by and you were like, oh, I love that bike.
I love that bike.
Tell me why. What do you think?
It was comfortable. It was easy to maneuver. Just felt very stable, easy to drive, fun to ride. Loved it.
Thank you. Do you have any shout outs while you're on camera? Any?
No.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Any thoughts from you? What do you think?
I want to say thank you for all your videos, because it's really very helpful to be able to get a sense of the electric
Fantastic.
bikes.
Thank you. And hopefully they're accurate to some. You guys have tried them now.
Yeah, I mean, what's
it.
great about your videos is you know what to look for when you start riding a bike. You know how cluttered the cockpit is, and those type of things, and the differences between the different motors. It's very helpful.
Well, thank you so much. We're gonna jump right in here and check out the Specialized Como. So I'm also here with Charlie McCormick from ElectricBikes. And where are you guys based?
We're based in Washington, D.C., in basically the upper northwest section of town.
Okay, because it's kind of neat. These are some of your products that you brought down for this expo. You've been nice enough to let me kind of cruise around, do some reviews, and I want to come back to you after I'm done, talking about all the specs and just, get your take on these. So I'll be right back, Charlie, okay?
Yep.
Sweet. So this is the Como 2.0, and it's got these awesome 650B tires. So 650B is this 27.5-inch diameter versus 26 or 28. So it's right in between, and then they're a little bit thicker, a little bit fatter, 2.3 inches. The woman we spoke with a minute ago, she was talking about how stable this was, and also you can see there's a little bit of traction, but it's primarily a road tire. So coming from something like an actual road bike with a tiny little tire, even a hybrid tire, you step up to those thicker tires, you get some comfort, you get more air volume, you get some stability, and then look at that fork. This is a rigid aluminum alloy. It's raked out a little bit, so it brings the wheel forward. This does have a longer kind of a wheelbase and length. I've measured that back at the site, but that's going to provide some stability as well. And then down here, check this out. This is a 15 millimeter through axle, 100 millimeter hub spacing width there. So just kind of interesting to see through axles that I'm used to seeing on mountain bikes and stuff. They're rigid, they're stiff, they give you power transfer and control. Seeing that on what I consider to be kind of a cruiser bike, a city bike. And then back here, 148 millimeter, this is boost width, which is interesting, maybe to fit the the bigger tires and then the disc brakes and everything. But this is a 12 millimeter through axle. Neither one of them have quick release. It's a 5 millimeter hex bolt right there. But again, just interesting. Going to be a little bit stiffer, give you some control over probably the higher weight of the wheel and the tire out there. 160 millimeter hydraulic disc brake in the rear, 180 up front. You do most of your stopping with that front disc brake, so that makes a lot of sense to me. These are Tektro. They do have adjustable reach levers right here, so that little screw, you can bring them in a little bit if you're someone with petite hands. And we're looking at a small size frame right here. This is about 15 inches, and that's this measurement right here from the bottom bracket up to the top of that seat tube. And the large. This one's 19 inches, so very much like a his and hers setup here. And you can even see that in the colors. They call this lava pink, and it's got some interesting accents down here, a little bit brighter. I love that they've got reflective sidewall stripes on the tires and even on the rims. Look at those stickers. So these are gonna stand out a little bit more, even though they don't come stock with lights. That's something I think about. Specialized also has, a Vado, and it's interesting to see mountain, city, and now relaxed city. And I think it's maybe possible to wire in some lights, but a lot of times I just put a little rubber band light kind of thing on the post or the handlebars. But of course you can add a rear rack right there. They've got bosses for that. You can add fenders. Check that out. That's what these are right here. You've got some extra supports, maybe even a rack. It sounds like there's a porter rack for the front. We've even got bottle cage bosses way up high, so if you're doing the step-through thing down here, you won't kick your bottle. And right here on the battery pack, I love that. And they probably did this because there's also a high step frame, and these would be a little bit more accessible. On a bike like this, maybe you could fit a mini pump or a folding lock. There's just not as much room, but part of the reason is because they wanted to bring that top tube much lower and give you that really easy entry on what I consider to be a full step through. This isn't quite like a mixed or mid step. You're getting, again, really low, almost just above where the pedal is when it's in an full upright position. Aluminum alloy frame, internally routed cables. This is totally a purpose-built electric bike. cockpit's pretty clean too, and I love that the display is removable. So a second ago we were talking about, you know, the removability of the battery. You could take the battery and the display off with you, take them inside if you're someone who wants to do commuting. I think we've actually got the key. Do you have the key for the battery? It's kind of fun to show that. And while he's getting that, I wanted to show you these nice big nylon pedals with what looks like skateboard grip tape on top. These work pretty well. They're going to be a little bit more grippy, but they're not going to dig into your shins as much if you accidentally slip off and they go spinning. So here we go. This is an ABUS locking core. It's one of the higher quality locks that's out there. There we go. And then it just kind of slides out from the side, just like this. About 6.1 pounds on this battery pack. And I was measuring the entire bike, the large, with the battery on it and everything. It's like 47.5 pounds. Not bad. I was actually pretty impressed with how light it is. And we think that's maybe in part because, you know, you've got the rigid forks. So they went with comfortable tires instead of like suspension, but 30.9 millimeters on that seat post. So do you see people at your shop swap that with like a seat post suspension, body float, or thud buster?
Well, we've seen this actually feels really comfortable. As you see, it's a sprung saddle too.
Oh yeah.
So you got suspension back in there. I didn't think it had that, but I think you probably could benefit from a little bit more of a suspension seat post if you have rough roads.
It's a good option, but I think you're right. These are actually really comfortable tires, and it feels really like, I don't know, you get that momentum feel sometimes when you don't have suspension, where the bike feels like it's with you. It's not flexy or anything like that.
Well, yeah, you're also losing, even though it's an electric bike, you lose efficiency when you have that pogo thing going on, and it just doesn't climb really well. Okay. So this feels solid climbing, and you get some of the comfort from the tires compressing.
A big saddle, and then even the handlebar. This is swept back, and we got the body geometry, you know, ergonomic grips and stuff. So it's a much more upright position than what am I thinking? So there's like the Levo, that means lift, and that's the mountain bike.
Right.
The Vado, and that's like a city bike, or?
I forget what the Vado is named, but this is named after Lake Como in Italy.
Oh, that's where the
Bond
name
movie
comes from.
with the beautiful lake?
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
It's not the only beautiful thing in that movie, if I remember quite.
Yes.
So, look, back to the stuff here. So this is what the battery looks like when it's off the bike. You know, pretty nice. It's got that little LED indicator, and that's the on-off switch for the bike too. And then can you flip that lid?
Yeah, this is the charging port here.
It's great. This is the Rosenberger magnetic, like energy bus standard. Really nice that they have a little like leash on that, so you don't use the cover.
That's been a big issue. People lose these covers like nobody's business.
Yeah, I hear that too, and I love the standard because if you trip over here, look, I'm gonna put this back in. I did notice I had to be really kind of just careful, make sure it lined up right down here because there are those pins, and then up top.
Make sure it clicks in, because that can, once you see your battery rolling down the street, it can really be a heartbreaker.
Yeah, like he's saying, you just want to make sure that's lined up perfectly and clicked in. I think it's a pretty good solution to achieve this beautiful look. This is a stealthier electric bike. Like it's one that, you know, come back here, look at the pink one. You know, you think about Bosch or Yamaha or a lot of the companies, they have their external packs. Some of them are starting to do internal, but the external packs are always like black or gray, and you can't have this beautiful like pink look across all your bike if you do that. And down here, this is the motor, and we do have this kind of venting system going on down here that's black, but I think otherwise it looks really nice with all the black cables internally routed. So we were talking about the charger. This is one of the nicer chargers that I've seen. It's 4 amps, which is twice as fast as most chargers, like 2 amps. It's got that magnetic energy bus plug-in, so if you trip over this while you're charging the bike, it just pops right out. There's no problem. One concern I have heard from people is that it can collect a little bit of magnetic, like, you know, iron filings and stuff like that at the, you know, if you're at a shop or it gets dropped in the sand. Not a huge deal. You can usually just brush those off, and it gets kind of clean. About 2 pounds on this. You can toss it in your bag, take it with you if you want to extend range even more. One of the considerations for this bike is that, you know, the battery pack on the 2.0 is a little bit smaller. It's 460 watt hours instead of 540. So, you know, it's 36 volts, 12.8 amp hours. It's still above average. You know, 540 versus 500. You hear about the Bosch 500 power pack. You know, a little bit more, and the Broza motor is pretty efficient. Any of these mid-drives, as long as you shift thoughtfully, you're going to be able to empower that motor for climbing or for hitting and maintaining the top assisted speed, 20 miles per hour. So I mean, what do you think about Brose versus some of these other drive systems?
Well, Brose can be quieter, but I have to say I did a lot of test riding. I rode about 20 miles, and the battery did not even go down one notch, and that was on the 2.0.
Wow.
So I don't know if it's something super they're doing there. I don't know if it's because the bike is so light, but the range on this is outstanding.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and especially with a bike that does weigh a little bit more, even at almost 50 pounds, like 47, it's still not tons of fun to ride without assistance, even though we have the slick tires, even though we have a 9-speed cassette. So this is Shimano Alivio 11 to 36 tooth, pretty standard. Alivio's a couple steps up from the base. Chainring up here, 40 tooth, and we've got this plastic guide, so it's going to help your pants slough over, and you can even see a bit of an indent here from where the battery mounts to the frame. It just feels like it's tucked nicely. Sticker slap guard, stays out of the way, and again, coming back to the rims, black spokes, black rim, there's a lot of style points on this bike. That's something that I can appreciate. I think everyone appreciates it when your bike looks nice. So the other specs on this, the motor is rated at 250 watts nominal. I think it peaks at 530 watts, up to 90 Newton meters of peak torque. It's like the RX City Tune Specialized has done something extra special with the Brose motor. Right, the Brose, you can actually, the manufacturers can adjust how the assistance level, how much, what each level is, and also, some of the onset, some of the finer details about how the motor performs, which, as good as Bosch is, it's fixed. You can't change that. So we can get in there in some cases for the Brose motor. We can go in and change the settings to make to really optimize it for what your riding experience is. Fantastic. I'm so glad. It's nice to have an expert with me here and getting all the feedback. So we talked about the motor. It's a little bit smaller battery than the 3.0, but still very capable, as you said. We took it off. We showed the display that also comes off, and I like that you can tap into the battery power with this micro USB adapter. So see at the bottom, there's like a little rubber flap. You could potentially mount your phone and be using that for GPS or Strava or something and power right off that, or a light. There are lots of options. It's something that not every bike has, and so I definitely appreciate that. Even the stem, a little bit more custom, kind of integrated right here, a little bit shorter, and it's a 20-degree angle, so it's angled up to bring it back up to you. I think we've covered most of this. Do you feel like there's anything that I missed, Charlie, that we want to talk about here?
I think we talked earlier about whether this has a port for
there is a hole.
There is a hole, and I believe in there is you can pull this cap out. If memory serves, this actually allows you to put, say, a nip and tuck.
Okay.
So the front light battery from Light Motion, which is the 6-volt standard.
Okay.
And you can do that. I believe there's a port in the back. I believe it comes out. I don't know where. I think we saw it before. It's definitely the case on the Vado.
Somebody is excited about this bike. Charlie's gonna help him out. I'm gonna hop on this thing and give you guys some feedback about what it feels like. I've reviewed the Brose motor before. It's pretty efficient. It's quiet because it has like a belt system inside. It's not just gears on gears. There's like a transfer with a belt, like a carbon belt. Seems to work pretty well. I like how compact it is and how quiet it is for sure. It's a little bit smoother feeling. To turn this bike on, we have to press and hold for a moment on that power button right there. And it does have like green LEDs that give you some feedback about how full it is. Display lights up. Takes a minute, kind of register. I believe this might be transelective because it looks pretty good in daylight. Okay, still waiting. Done. Okay, finally we're in there. It's got these 3 ticks at the top that give you some feedback about what level of assist you're in. So you press the plus or minus, and I can go down to no assist, like that. There we go. A little bit brighter with the sunlight, huh? And then we've got a light indicator. So that means that the backlight's turned on, and the light button is down here. So if I press the lights, now that's without backlighting, and that's with. Not real easy to see in daylight like this, but it's actually a really nice backlighting system. I like that you can turn it off because sometimes you're riding at night and you don't want to be distracted, right? I want to ride, have the bike do its thing. I don't need to know what the display is doing. Then we have the speedometer, 3 miles per hour right there for that short little cruise. Battery indicator, so it's like an infographic with 5 bars. Not my favorite. I like percentage. It's more precise. And Specialized does have like a touch screen on some of their nicer bikes, like the Vado, the higher end one, 6.0. This one, it's all activated through the button pad, but that's relatively easy to reach and deal with. So that's something I think about. You're welcome. Have a good day. So anyway, down at the bottom, we've got a trip meter and kind of an odometer, and you press the set button to cycle through those, as well as a little timer. So, you know, giving you some stats, feedback about the ride. I'm gonna arrow up and get 1 bar of assist and go off this curb. Pretty solid feeling, pretty rigid. You know, and some of that comes back to, like, you know, here I am riding with no hands. It feels pretty stable. You know, there are a couple minutes where it does turn. You can definitely maneuver this thing, but once you're riding, it feels pretty good to me. And my body position is very upright. Right now I'm not having to lean forward, and that means I can spot traffic a little bit easier and maybe not get a neck ache by leaning really far forward. There we go. Yep. I'm gonna arrow up to a higher level of assist here. There we go. We're able to reach our top speed of 20 miles per hour. Stop with one hand because of those hydraulic disc brakes. It's interesting because I don't remember the chainring spinning down so quickly on some of the other Brose bikes that I've reviewed. I really feel like it stops quickly. It doesn't like, it's you can almost hear it and feel it when it's quiet. Okay guys, from here you can see that the rack mounting points, but hopefully also the chain rings. You can see how quickly it starts and stops. I was really impressed with that. And then also the cassette, switching through some of the gears. Again, no shift detection on this. You gotta ease off a little bit to shift smoothly. I like that it has a traditional size chain ring. There isn't like a gearbox or anything up there. There's no drag. I think that's about it. And listen closely. I'm gonna be in the highest level of assist so you can get some feel for, you know, the sound it might make. Awesome. I did a mix of pedaling hard at the beginning and then at the end just really gently, and it was still helping me. It was still giving me some assist because I'm in the highest level of assist, but I didn't need to overexert myself. So I really like these multi-sensors. The Brose motor is definitely at the higher end. It's one of the nicer systems, and I like how it performed. It's interesting. There's a little bit of, I think because I'm sitting so far back on this bike, you know, just looking at kind of the seat tube angle and the saddle, there was a little bit of a wobble at certain speeds. That's something that I've gotten some comments about recently on bikes. People said, oh, you know, the handlebars were a little bit wobbly. I haven't experienced it a whole lot myself, but then again, it's just something to think about. And one of the things I like about Specialized is that they do have all those dealers. They can set it up properly for you, get you fitted, and maybe you can test ride it versus a lot of bikes, you know, you try to buy it online or have it shipped to you and you might not know. So this one does, there is a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe I'm just paranoid about this because I've been getting some comments. Let's try again. You know, feels, you know, I'm trying to like induce speed wobble and it's not happening. So I feel like it's pretty stable. Doing a pretty good job. Yeah, having a good time. Hey, we've got a little crowd gathered here. Hey, Charlie, you be able to hop on a bike with me and go for a little ride? Sweet. Let's grab that charger. You maybe put it in my backpack real quick.
Okay. beautiful downtown Philadelphia.
Why don't we swap off? Are you okay on?
No problem.
Yeah, I'll take the.
Raise the seat on this?
That's okay. I mean, we're just.
It goes up actually.
Yeah, okay, let's do it. Because I definitely have a little bit more leg extension, and sometimes I feel like I'm all squatted down.
But you also have some knee challenges, right?
I do. I have some knee sensitivity. So yeah, I mean, you sometimes you push. That's good. Yeah, let's do it. So here, we'll hand this one off. I'll start this one up. We'll watch it start again. Press the power button for a couple seconds. And then we got the display lighting up. And it goes through like some sort of diagnostics.
You gotta kind of hit. I usually, I don't know if I'm waiting. Hit the top button.
Oh, interesting. So the top button sort of brings it out of that diagnostics a little bit quicker. Okay. And these kickstands are pretty nice too. See how it's way out of the way of that left crank arm, so you can back the bike up without any kind of collision. The base it's a little bit sharp. It's not quite as like wide as some, and so if you park on soft terrain, you know, there's some weight on this bike, especially if you had a rack, it might sink in. That's something I think about a little bit. It'd be nice if there was a pad. But okay, so we could just ride on the street, or you know, this is a one-way street up here, so we want to be careful. But okay. I'd love to show people what it looks like when someone's riding the bikes.
Okay.
Sweet. See how upright he is? That's awesome.
It's just such a comfortable ride. You know, I think you see a lot of these bikes that are like this.
Nice. Is brakes feeling good?
Brakes feel great. And this bike just has a lot of get up and go.
And is the seat a little high for you right now?
No, this is the right size for me.
I saw you jump down, and I was like, I mean, it's really nice to have that step through.
Absolutely.
You don't feel unstable when you get off.
No. And I mean, I like having the saddle, because I'm a cyclist, I like having my saddle, you know, so I can get full leg extension. But
yeah,
a lot of people want that saddle lower so they can Flintstone.
Yeah,
you know?
Right, with their feet on the ground.
That's right.
I've never heard it called that, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so they can walk it like this, and they feel a lot more. A lot of people who aren't cyclists, they feel a lot more confident starting out that way, especially. Later on, they want to get more knee extension.
So this provides a little bit of both, you know, and you always have the ability to jump off and feel like you're protected. They heard we were having too much fun, Charlie. Oh my gosh, look at this.
Court, I think you were going too fast. You're riding too fast, they're after you.
And they have bikes?
Yeah.
These police have bikes. Wow. I hope everyone's okay. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. Huh. And then they stopped, so maybe they're
really excited to go to the Philadelphia
e-bike expo. I think. Well, lead on, take us there. You just really notice how quiet these bikes are. Quiet, like visually and from an audio perspective. You don't hear them. Fantastic. That is the Specialized Como. It's the 2.0. It's like the kind of the entry-level model in terms of price, right? $2,600.
Yep.
Not bad. You get the 2-year comprehensive warranty, Specialized dealerships. Can you tell us again about your store, Charlie?
Yes, Electricity Bikes in Washington, D.C.
This one right here.
So we've been around for about 1.5 years in that location, and we just had great success with the electric bike scene. And we're so proud to offer really the full range from Specialized. They just do a great job at both design and support. So we're very happy with the Specialized.
There you go. Thank you so much. I appreciate going on a ride with you. For the full write-up on this, all the specs and measurements that I always do, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Chime in with your comments or questions, and have fun. See you next time.
Cheers.
So we're finishing up the review. Ran into some friendly guys here. You got out for a ride on your regular bikes, right? Like a road bike.
Right.
What was your name?
My name is Mike.
Mike, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
You
too.
said you tried these before, huh?
I tried it before, and it was kind of fun. I liked it. It's not a bike that will do the riding for you. It assists you on the bike, so it's cool.
Well, you guys, you're kind of used to that. You're out riding around Philadelphia, having fun. And who's your friend over here?
Yeah, that's Marvin.
Marvin.
I'm Marvin, and we just finished riding, 30 miles, 29 miles. We came out of Marcus Hook, Pennsylvania. We in Philadelphia. We ran into a couple friends here. They demonstrating these specialized Como bikes, and he let me take a test ride.
Yeah.
I love it.
You loved it.
I think I'm gonna get my first time ever riding this e-bike. Is that what we call it? The e-bike. And I like it. And I'm being honest. I really like it.
Cool.
You know,
we were talking about our conversation before we got here, because we were talking about we're not gonna get no. I said, why would I get a bike with a motor?
I know, and we was just talking about that.
Well, now what do you think? Was it different? You changed your mind at all?
I still don't see the motor in it. It's just, it's
just a little bit of assist.
It's just a little bit of assist, though. You know what I mean?
You still get cardio. You're still out, but hills can be, that's a nice help.
Wow.
Well, you're also thinking about it for your wife.
I'm really thinking about it for my wife.
Thanks for going on camera and sharing your first ride.
Thanks,
That's fun.
buddy. You guys enjoy.
Will you hop on one more time on the blue one?
I'm gonna look forward to getting one, though.
Yeah, I want to. This is your second ride right here.
This is my second ride. Watch this. Okay.
This one or that one?
Watch this, y'all.
There he goes.
Watch this. All you got to do is get on this bike and pedal. Woo!
It takes off. He's having a blast. I think the saddle's a bit high for him, but oh hey, we got this guy going on too.
Turn that one on? That one turned on? Hey, can we trade bikes? I got 300 in my pocket right now. You take mine.
There we go. Look at that.
Nice.
Good times.
Well,
Good
I
times.
definitely recommend it.
Thanks, man. It's fun to meet people and have a little fun out there.
Yeah,
so
I
appreciate that.
appreciate that.
Even rode the pink bike. No shame,
I
man.
love bright colored bikes.
Me too. I'm like a big fan of the bright because you don't want to get hit by a car when you're out in traffic or
Right,
whatever.
they just look better.
Yeah, I like your shirt too. You got a little bit of those red accents.
Yeah, try to
man.
have a lot of color on when I come out the house, so like you said, be safe.
Yeah, be seen. We got that nice helmet too. It looks like you've had a couple of moments on that thing. You got some scratches going on.
Yeah, but that's just from throwing it on the floor.
Okay.
I haven't fallen.
I'm glad we haven't had any of that.
No, hopefully I won't have that to worry about, but yeah, I definitely recommend it. You'd be surprised it's not anything that's going to do the work for you.
Yeah.
It assists you. And I just heard the guy talking about coming up hills.
Yeah.
You have to still do the work, but it just helps.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, it's nice.
Thank you so much. You want any shout outs or anything you want to say while you're on camera?
Not really.
You're all good,
Shout out to my
modest.
wife, Dawn.
There you go.
That's it.
He's out riding with another guy, okay, Don?
Yeah,
There's no other way.
That's what we do.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, I got a little group that we ride. We had another guy with us, but he had to leave. That's pretty much it.
He missed out. You gotta tell him. You can tell him to watch the
Wow,
video.
he's gonna be pissed.
We'll see him there. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you.